Hey, what's up guys? Rado here with my buddy Brett. We are in Brett's garage and we're gonna take care of this 350 engine, but once we are done with it, it's not gonna be 350 anymore. So stick around. Alright Brett, so what do we have here on the table? And you already took the engine apart, right? So what do you think, how did it look after 240 hours?
Looked very well. It looked good. It had no wear on the transmission. The crank was a little worn, the piston was worn, and the valves were worn. Okay. Other than that, it looked pretty good. So
there are like no stock pieces like in transmission that we need to replace, right?
Nope,
everything is okay.
It was really good.
Okay, so we're gonna keep the transmission, everything is good. What we did here, this is a stack.
It's a hot rod's rod.
Yeah, hot rod that we rebuilt. So we are using the stock one, we just rebuilt the rod. And then also we're going to put all new Hinson clutch setup for the engine. All the bearings are already replaced in the cases. We do hot rod bearings for transmission and the main bearing. Then we have some Vertex stuff, you know, for the gaskets. And the biggest thing for this build would be these bags right here. What is it, 366?
Yes, this is a new Cylinder Works big bore, and it worked wonderful. A lot of power.
Cool. So it's gonna be a little bit of increase in the power, and it comes with everything you need. Your piston from Vertex, then there is the cylinder, all the gaskets and everything you need to make your bike just a little bit bigger. So gain a little extra. And then on the other side right here, we do have a hot cam stage 2 to get a little more, you know, power in the mid-range. And I had that on my RMZ that we built here last time, and it worked amazing.
Using Yamabond number 4 on the cases. You put a nice gentle bead all the way around. You don't have to get too excessive, otherwise you'll have a lot of silicone inside the case plugging up the filters. And we're installing a hot rod that we rebuilt on the OEM crank. When you do this yourself, we had already installed the bearing races on both sides, but when you do this yourself, make sure you watch for the spacers. These have little shims behind the bearing races, and it's because they space out in between the crank. Each cases are different, so they have to space the crank perfectly. On this one, there was 2 on the ignition side and 1 on the motor side. So if you ever do this yourself, please pay attention to those, because otherwise they'll throw off and be an issue. Alright, we're going to assemble the oil pump. This needs to be done first after you do the cases, otherwise you'll be in a bind taking other parts off and trying to get to it. You always want to inspect your oil pump, make sure there's no gouges inside the lobes where it creates the pressure. This one looks really good. Look at this one as well. KTM and Husqvarna use a plastic oil pump on the outer side. So you really have to pay attention to these, because they will start fraying at the edges and they'll actually start melting when they get a little hot. So make sure these are always in perfect working order. This one is. always want to check your shift shaft, make sure your spring is working properly. Make sure there's no wear on your teeth. This one is in very good shape for having as many hours as it has. So Husqvarna and KTM have these, their guide assemblies are very good, well made to where they don't let you drop a cam chain when you do top end rebuilds. It can be a little tricky. Loctite on these nuts so they don't come loose. I'm using red Loctite. On the crankshaft, the nut on here is always left-handed thread, not right-handed. On the KTMs and Husqvarna, they have top dead center locking nut, so that way you can lock this down and it won't move at all. And when you look inside the hole, you'll see a little slot, a little pointy part goes into that, and what I'll do is it'll lock the crank in place. It's a really good feature that KTM and Husqvarna have. This clutch basket has 240 hours on it, and you can see it has absolutely no wear on where the clutch sets in. On most manufacturers, you would have already had to replace this at least twice. They tend to wear really bad, and that's why Hinson came out with their really good one. And that one lasts a long time, but this is steel, lightweight, and it just seems to last forever. So we're going to use the OEM inner, the big hub, and then we're going to use the Hinson inner hub and pressure plate and Hinson clutch. Hinson makes on their outer spring, they use a single spring, and the Hinson is a little stiffer than the OEM one, gives you a little more pressure on the plates, which makes it hook up better and just overall better power. And since it has a hydraulic clutch, you don't have to worry about it being really too stiff in your hand. Now in the Hinson kit, it comes with two different packages of plates. On the package that has, these are thinner, they come in two. This is the first and this is the last. I always put the flat side facing out. They have a rounded side and a flat side out. Alright, now we're going to do a water pump rebuild kit on this. This is also from Hot Rods. It comes with the whole kit. All right, here we have the stock cylinder, and we have the cylinder works kit. This is a big bore, this is the OEM. As you can see, this piston definitely had a lot of time on it. She was ready to be replaced. For as many hours as it had on it, it still actually surprisingly looks pretty good. Definitely needed to be replaced. The cylinder looks in good shape. I don't see any scarring. This definitely could have been reused. The new kit, big bore kit, comes with an awesome cylinder, all nickel plated, ready to go. They come out of the box ready. Just clean it, install it, and you're good to go. Cleaner, and just wipe these cylinders out real good. Make sure you don't get any black soot. At 240 hours, the valves generally will have a ton of wear. You can see just by looking on the outside that this valve is already sucking in. So they definitely need to come out, get checked, and possibly replaced. So here's the new valve, here's your old valve. When you take them out and you're inspecting them, you want to inspect the edge on them. That's the main thing that goes. If you look on the new one, it's really nice, got a flat edge, it's really nice and shaped. These are Del West valves, they are extremely good, the best valves out there. If you look at this older one, you can already see the wear where it's actually cupping in. That comes to when the valve is getting pulled into the valve seat, and it starts wearing, and once that cupping starts, it'll just really go from there. I've seen them to where they pulled all the way through the head because they didn't get changed out. The first thing you will notice is the valve adjustment. When the valve adjustment starts going out really fast, you should probably have new valves installed. On the exhaust valves, you can see all the buildup. This is all exhaust. These valves get the most heat pushed through them. As you can see, all the buildup and how bad the carbon buildup is on this valve, so it was probably leaking a lot. As you look at the new one again, they're nice solid edges. You can tell this one has been in there a long time, as it has all this little stress cracking when it's chipping off the carbon. This definitely needed to be replaced. It's old and got a lot of hours.
Alright guys, so we got all these new parts for the head. Everything is brand new, as you can see. It says KTM, but it's Husky. You guys know it's the same. It's the same stuff, right? So we got new valves, new springs, new seats, everything. We're gonna clean these now real nice, and then we'll be able to start putting everything back together. So we'll be good for another couple hundred hours here.
As you can see, the seats look really good. There's no wear on them. There's no chips, no indentations. They look really good. So now we'll check the new valves to the seats and make sure they match well and that there's no leaks, and then we'll go from there. When installing the valve stem seals, I use the Motion Pro valve stem seal installer. It works the best. this project, we are going to put hot cams in, and benefit is with the big bore, these cams will definitely help this motor breathe, and once it's all done, she'll be a rocket.
Alright guys, so engine is all done. We are finished. What do you think, Brett? How did it go?
Came out really nice. This motor has a lot of hours on it, and now after we're done, this thing's like brand new.
Brett over here at Para Pros. You guys want to check him out? He's at Instagram on Para Pros. I'm gonna put it below on the screen. He's mechanic here in SoCal. If you guys need to done something, I'm sure Brett can help you out.
Yes, sir.
Right? So I guess that's about it for today. We are going to take this engine back to Dirt and Iron Garage now, and we have a lot more work that needs to be done on everything else. So I look forward. This bike will be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be fast.
Cool. Alright guys, that's about it for today, and don't forget, whatever you do, stay motivated. See you guys later.